I've just always put the two together, and they're two different things. Trading in stocks and shares is when you actively buy and sell shares like in the short term, so basically for a short term gain. So you're literally like watching it, timing things and doing a lot of analysis to make sure you're buying at the right time and then selling quickly, and basically yeah, it's a short term thing. Whereas investing in stocks and shares is essentially, it's more of a long term game. It's more like property really. When you invest in the stock market, you're buying a stock or a share of a company. So basically you're buying a little piece of a company. You essentially own that little piece of the company. I don't want to be thinking, oh, I can't do that because I'm retired now and I don't have enough money. Like, hey guys, so yeah, this is new. This is like quite untouched territory. I'm a bit nervous because you all know this isn't really my bread and butter, but like, as this channel was all about sharing my journey, showing the things that I'm doing, it's all about investing and basically like my journey to creating, you know, wealth for myself. I thought I might as well share. Actually, no, I've always known I wanted to share on this topic, but I just didn't know when because it wasn't something that I was doing myself. But now that I am, I just thought like, why not start now? So yeah, as the title of today's video says, I want to talk to you guys about reasons why you should be investing in the stock market with me right now, as I am doing. But before I get into that, you know, in the spirit of transparency, I want to give you guys a bit of context. So as I already said, I'm just starting myself now in terms of like actively investing in the stock market. And so everything that I'm going to say in this video is literally sharing my realizations, and hopefully there'll be things that will also encourage you if you're somebody that's been putting it off, you know, for a while, when you know really you should have done it already. So yeah, last month I bought these shares, and some of you may be thinking, oh, I'm quite surprised that, you know, you hadn't bought any shares, you know, previously. And if you're not, well, I'm surprised, and you know, I'm still surprised that I didn't do it sooner. And to be honest, it all comes down to the fact that in my head, I've synonymously always put the idea of, you know, trading in stocks and shares with investing in stocks and shares. I've just always put the two together, and they're two different things. Trading in stocks and shares is when you actively buy and sell shares like in the short term, so basically for a short term gain. So you're literally like watching it, timing things and doing a lot of analysis to make sure you're buying at the right time and then selling quickly, and basically yeah, it's a short term thing. Whereas investing in stocks and shares is essentially, it's more of a long term game. It's more like property really. So I think the fact that I've started investing in property and, you know, managing my own investment property has helped me come to the realization of that better. I guess, I hope that makes sense. So yeah, that's where I'm at now. I finally started, you know, buying stocks and shares in companies that I'm interested in. But before we actually get further in that side of things, I just want to backtrack a little bit and say that basically that although I hadn't like, you know, physically myself bought any stocks and shares, I do have an investment ISA set up. So an investment ISA is basically a stocks and shares ISA. I have mine set up with St. James Place, and I had that done last June. So basically each month I've been putting money into this account, and essentially when you invest in a stocks and shares ISA, it's like another ISA, so maybe like the lifetime ISA that you have. So it's tax efficient. You have up to a 20k, you know, threshold whereby you don't pay any tax on it. But the benefit is that basically you get a greater return on your money. So with a stocks and shares ISA, essentially the money that you invest in that ISA tracks the companies that your money has been invested into. And so obviously when those businesses and companies or industries are doing well, so is your money. And I'm actually pleased to say that the last time I spoke with my financial advisor, who actually manages, you know, the fund or account for me, basically he told me that my money was actually doing a 9% return. So that was our last conversation. So I'll be, you know, quite pleased to see what the money's looking like now. I'm happy that I did actually set that up. And I think what also triggered me to set up the investment ISA last year when I did was the fact that I knew I'd been stalling a bit too much on, you know, getting started in terms of investing in stocks. And so that seemed like, you know, less of an easier way to get into it. And really and truly, that's what an investment ISA or stocks and shares ISA is for. It's like the entry point to investing. So it's, you know, less risk, and also, as I said, it's tax efficient. Okay, so now fast forward to the future, back to where I am in the present. Now that I know the actual true difference between investing in the short term, so, you know, trading stocks and shares, to investing in the long term, so buying stocks of, you know, different companies and funds or whatever, let's talk about the reasons why I feel that you should be investing in the stock market right here, right now. after you set up your investment ISA, that is. Okay, so let's talk about the first reason why you should be investing in the stock market right now. So basically, when you invest in the stock market, you're buying a stock or a share of a company. So basically, you're buying a little piece of a company. You essentially own that little piece of the company. Now, if you know there's a company that is doing well, a company that maybe you actually follow, and you see that it's growing and consistently like just really doing well, why would you not want a piece of that, especially if it's something that you know that you can technically afford? As the company grows and does better, so does your pocket. Like, your money is growing, so like, why would you not invest in that company or buy stocks? Like, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? That's literally like how you have to see it. If you're not sure which company to buy stocks in, then you can just invest in funds. So for example, index funds like the S&P 500 or the FTSE 100. So basically, when you invest in these funds, you're essentially buying like little parts of various different companies. So rather than buying like one Facebook share, for example, when you invest in an index fund, you're buying little bits of different companies. And so when one of the companies in that bucket is not doing so well, at least you can rely on the others to sort of boost your investment. The second reason to invest in the stock market right now is capital growth. So basically, we all know that the money that you have in your savings account is just like basically being eaten away by inflation. Whereas if you invest in the stock market, your money will grow in line with inflation or maybe even beyond it. The third reason you should invest in the stock market is basically because it's actually so inexpensive. Like, yeah, there are some expensive shares, but there are also cheap ones. It's great when you can buy a company in the early stages when it's just like released on the stock market. So when they release their IPO, it's good to look into companies like that, because then you can buy when they're relatively cheap and then you give your money that chance to like grow and really develop. The fourth reason why you should invest in the stock market is because it's an additional income source. Now, we're all out here talking about, additional streams of income, 7 streams of income, all that kind of stuff. This is another stream, and it's literally so easy. You just need to buy some shares and that's it. Like, you don't need to do much else. You buy the stocks and then you just leave it for a long-term period to grow. The next reason to invest in the stock market, as I already said, is passive income. So it's one of those things where literally you don't need to go to work to get that money. Like, you've bought the shares, you've bought the stocks, and that's it. Like, you just need to continue the cycle, really. So each and every month, add to your stocks and shares portfolio and just give it that time to, generate a return. The next reason to invest in the stock market is the fact that you can benefit from compound interest. So unlike, your bank savings account where basically they give you a fixed rate of interest on your savings, with investing in the stock market, like, there's no limit as to how much your money can grow. Like, it literally grows exponentially. The next reason to invest in the stock market is because it's part of a good retirement plan. Now, I don't know about you, but basically when I come to retiring, I don't ever want to be in a position where it's like, oh, I feel like I want to do something or go somewhere, but I can't because it's like, oh no, actually, I can't afford that. I don't have enough money to do that. It's like, no, after working for, how many years, you want to be in a position whereby you can enjoy your retirement and not have to be like tight with your money. Especially even looking at the way that I am now. I know I'm someone that does not want to retire at at an old age. Like, I want to be free within the next few years. And when I say free, it's a thing whereby I work and do the things that I want to do to, make money for myself. Not necessarily that, I have to do a job that I don't want to. And so, yeah, it's just all a part of the plan, really. Like, building up those various, types of income streams is so key. The next reason to invest in the stock market is because you don't actually need to be a genius. Like, I think that was another limiting belief that I had before. I kind of felt like, oh, you kind of need to be quite brainy. Like, it's quite complex to understand. But again, I think it comes down to the fact that I was mixing up the two in terms of trading in the short term and investing for the long term. And then also just outside of that, I think when you don't give something enough of a chance, you don't actually realize how easy or simple it is. Thank God that I got involved in property, because it really actually enlightened me and opened my eyes that actually it's not that deep. So yeah, everything that you need to know, whether it's researching a company, seeing how good they're doing, it's all on the internet. there are companies that will give you analysis and, like, you know, just keep on top of it from time to time. Like, especially when you're investing for the long term, it's actually not that deep. Like, it's not a big deal. So yeah, you don't need to be a genius. Like, everything that you need to know, you can easily look up online. Even if it is a case whereby you want to get involved in like trading stocks and shares, so like for short term, you know, monetary growth, like that's fine. You know, you can find that information in YouTube videos, reading a few articles. Like, it's not a big deal, because I personally, I'm going through that as well. I also want to get to a point of, you know, trading stocks and shares, not just share baby steps, but I do feel that, you know, all the things that I was scared of and afraid of is because I hadn't really given it a chance. All the information is out there online. And now the final reason why you need to invest in the stock market is basically because it's accessible to everyone, unlike something like property. Now, I know a lot of people do want to get involved in property, but obviously it's the sort of saving up for the capital that is hard. It's not an easy thing. Like, and so yeah, investing in the stock market is something that is accessible to everyone, because you can literally buy stocks from as little as £2 maybe, and you know, everyone can afford that. Like, you'd easily spend that money on, I don't even know, but yeah, it's so accessible. Like, you know, you can buy stocks in various companies, diversify your portfolio, and you know, if one company's not doing so well, you've got shares in other companies, and you know, it just continues like that, especially whereby you continue to put money in those investments on a monthly basis. So that's the way to do it. Like, you continue to put money into, you know, investing in the stock market, and just allow your money to grow. Just leave it there and let it grow. I know that's something that I've set myself to do now. So last month I put in like £50 into investing in company shares. I think this month I'm going to do about 70, and then next month maybe stick to £100 each month, and just do it like that, really. Like, even in the small, like, you know, few weeks that I've had my account, I've seen the money drop, and then I've seen it go up, and I'm like, oh, like, this is nice. Because really, if I hadn't put the money into those stocks and shares, where would the money have gone? Maybe on like something that I don't really need, maybe on food, eating out, like, I don't know. But it just goes to show that when you reprioritize and put money into things that actually are worthwhile, regardless of how small a return may seem in the, you know, the beginning, eventually the return will get greater. And it's actually very similar to property, but it's just that I don't have to put down the huge deposit. Like, so I really appreciate that about the stock market. So yeah, as I said, this is all new to me, and it's all about like sharing my journey with you guys, full transparency. This is not something that I'm used to, it's not my bread and butter, but I want to go on this journey and share with you guys like things that I'm doing and things that I'm learning along the way. So yeah, hopefully you found this video useful. If you have done, please do give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more videos about, you know, investing in the stock market and, you know, things that I'm working on, please do let me know in the comments, and I'll gladly create those videos. As I said, I'll create another video talking about, you know, the companies that I've invested in so far and my reasons behind that. So yes, thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you later. Bye.